Pull up a chair and buckle up. It's the Original Strength Podcast. Hey guys, this week on the BodCast, I am talking with me. So it's just me this week. The summer's been kind of crazy. We do have some exciting guests coming up in the next few weeks, so stay tuned for that. But right now, you get me and all the wonderful tales I've had over the summer. But first, a word from our sponsor. If you are looking for a daily movement plan, a plan that gets you moving every day, that's why it's called daily, you need to look at the Daily 21s. If you want to feel good in your own body, you want to move well, feel well, restore your mobility, restore your strength, and just your ability to live life the way you want to. Check out the Daily 21s program. It can be done in less than 20 minutes. 21 movements a day for various different exercises, and they're not exercises, they're just movements, but you perform those movements 21 times, and you do that every single day, and after a while, after a week, after 2 weeks, you're going to feel really, really good. So go down to osionline.com and check out the Daily 21s. If you're looking for that, I'll put the link in the notes of the show. And now back to the show. Okay, so summer is almost over, but it's still hot as all get out. So I got a funny story to tell you. About sometime in the middle of July, I was working out in the morning, and my tailbone, and for you professionals, my sacrum, started itching really bad. I was like, man, itching. So I finished my workout, I went in the house, go take a shower, and I look at my tailbone in the mirror, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got eaten up by fire ants. Like, they're fire ant bites all over my tailbone. And then I'm like, I don't even remember getting bit. And normally, and it's possible, like I've been bitten by several fire ants before. And you don't know they're biting you until after they're biting you, because then you start burning. And normally I usually itch after fire ant bites, a day or two later. So I was assuming that, man, I sat down on outside in the grass or something. I couldn't figure it out. I got ants in my pants. Tim had ants in his pants. So anyway, I'm going out, I'm like, oh my gosh, this was a Monday, by the way. I got fire ant bites all over my butt. So I don't think too much about it, but I'm like trying to put some cortisone cream on the fire ant bites because they're itching pretty good. And, I go about my business. The next day, I'm just really sleepy, really tired. So I have to teach class in the morning. I come home and I take like a 15-minute nap before I have to go back to the studio, and I could hardly wake up. I go to the studio and I'm sitting down on the ground, and every time my tailbone touches anything, though, man, it hurts. I was like, it felt like raw, like I had been hit by something. But, then I'm thinking, man, fire ant bites usually last when they fester up like that, they usually last like a week for me. So I'm like, man, I'm only like a day in. I'm gonna have to deal with this itching and weird raw sensation for like a week. And then Wednesday rolls around, and I'm trying to show demonstrations at the studio on how to do some rolls and stuff like that. But every time I roll on my back, my butt lights up like a Christmas tree because of those dang fire ant bites. So Thursday comes, and I'm like, man, these things are just, I really don't remember getting bit. Is that normal? Wouldn't I, if I got bit by 40, it was like 40. If I got bit by 40 fire ant bites, wouldn't I have felt one of them? I was like, you know what, Tim? Maybe you should go get those checked out. What if they're not fire ant bites? So I go to urgent care, and I'm telling them, hey, I'm only here just to make sure I'm not crazy. I sat down on some fire ants, and they got in my pants or something, and I got like these bites all over me, but I just want to make sure they're fire ant bites. And the guy's like, all right, well, show me what you got. And within 1 second, I turned around and showed him my tailbone. He goes, oh, well, you got shingles. What? Yeah, man, you got a case of shingles on the tailbone. I've never seen them on the tailbone before like that. It's pretty rare. But yeah, that's what you got. And guys, that's funny. It's not funny. It's not funny at all. I didn't think it was funny. I did not laugh. But I had convinced myself that I had 40 fire ant bites on my tailbone. So the lesson of this story is if something's going on that's just weird, don't convince yourself of what it is if you're not sure. Like if you got bit 40 times by a fire ant and you didn't feel it not one time, there's a chance it might not be fire ants, and there could be a chance it's the shingles. So that's my lesson to you today is if the ninja fire ants get you, it might not be fire ants. All right, so that's my fun summertime story. The rest of my summertime story is, and really this is a year-long story. I still get every now and then people ask about training. How do you do this? How do you do that? So I'll just tell you, and most of the time is what do you do? Well, everything has a season to it, right? So I go through seasons of training. Well, I have been in a 9-month season, 8.5-month season of taking Dan John's Easy Strength and then making it Timmy's Easy Strength. And what I mean by that is by the way, I'm a fan of 21 reps, right? So I took Easy Strength and took a 21 rep approach to Easy Strength every day for 9 months. And I got to be honest with you, I loved it. Now, so what I did though is I used a barbell or double kettlebells, and they were light. Everything was light because I'm doing 21 reps, not 10. So I did 21 reps of a push, a pull, a squat, a hinge, and then I might, crawl or carry, something like that. So, well, actually though, I started thinking about summer's coming. Like when I started this, summer was coming and I wanted to have guns for the sun. So guns out, sun's out. So I even started doing 21 reps of curls just for fun because I hadn't done that since I was in like high school. So for my pull from the ground or my hinge, I would do power cleans, 21 reps of power cleans. Then I would do 21 overhead presses with the same weight on the bar. And then I would do 21 front squats with the same weight. So I kept everything the same. I kept it ridiculously simple as far as weight goes. And then I would do like 21 pull-ups. And that was kind of the gist of it. Some days it was with a barbell. Some days it was with double kettlebell. Some days it was with one kettlebell or a dumbbell. That way, like on the double kettlebells or double dumbbell, obviously those were much lighter loads. Now, my heaviest load on the barbell was not even, I kept everything relative to my body weight, right? So it was like 75% of my body weight was like the heaviest I did. So for my my power cleans or my overhead presses and front squats, it really wasn't heavy. But I was just showing up every day, getting 21 reps in. And I did that for a solid 8.5 months. Pretty sure. Yeah, definitely eight and a half. And I got to tell you, I loved it. It was just simple. It was fast. It was easy. Now, I'm actually writing a book about this, so I'm not going to be able to like hit all the detail in this. But this is coming in a book, and I'm telling you right now to make sure I end up writing it. So I'm putting it out there. But so it was 21 reps every day of all of those movements. But some days it was 21 straight reps. Could be, didn't have to be. Some days it was 3 sets of 7 for 21. Some days it was a set of 11, set of 10. Some days it was 4 sets of 5. Well, 3 sets of 5, 1 set of 6. It just depends. So I would vary the intensity by how I would do the reps and the sets. But every day was 21. And I literally did that for, 8.5 months. And the results is I felt really good. I still do. I seem to put on some beef a little bit. Now, part of that is I also started eating more because I was just curious. You go through seasons. Why did I stop? I think it's just time for a new season, but I may go right back to it because I enjoyed it. It was really fun for me. Because again, I got to practice because the loads were so light. Every time I showed up, it was just like practice, and it never wore me down. I always felt good after I was done, and I don't regret it at all. So that was my training program over the last year, and it's been a while since you and I have sat together and looked at each other like this and talked or listened to each other. And speaking of listening, I just noticed that I have my earphones in and I'm talking to myself, so I probably don't need these. Other than that, guys, recently, we just finished an original strength course weekend here in Fuquay, Varina. So the name of my town is called Fuquay, Varina. For those of you that have ever tried to read it and have really had profane mouths. So the name of my town is Fuquay, Varina, and I think all roads do lead to Fuquay. Man, we had people come here from Japan, from Germany, and just the greatest group of people. And we spent 3 whole days, some of us spent 4, just diving into the wonders of our body and how it's designed. And I got to tell you guys, it is a It is a miraculous, miraculous design. So I'm going to end with this to show you how amazingly designed your body is. Right now, and if you don't know this, you'll have to, I guess, take my word for it. But then you can easily Google this and do some scientific research on yourself, and you can figure this out. But your body is made to move, and movement is what builds our brain and our nervous system, and it knits our body together. It keeps everything about you healthy. It keeps your emotions healthy. It keeps your thoughts healthy. So, and you already know this, how you move affects how you feel and how you think, right? You can't separate anything out about you from yourself. So movement keeps everything about you healthy. It keeps all your systems, your immune system, your lymphatic system, your name a system, your digestive system. It keeps those all running well. It keeps all your cells, each individual cell, movement affects it. It helps it do its job better. It even keeps the bacteria that are not you, the bacteria in your intestines, it helps keep them healthy as well. So you are designed, by design, you are designed to move. But now, if how you move affects how you feel and how you think, and they are tied together, and they are, because if you move good, generally you feel good. And if you feel good, you think good. You think good thoughts, you think well, you're more positive. If you're feeling bad, you're probably not moving good. And if you're feeling bad, you're probably having negative thoughts, right? And if you're having negative thoughts, you're probably not feeling good and you're probably not moving good. So everything dances together because everything is whole. Everything is one. You are a whole being. So, but if you're designed to move, and when you move good, you feel good, then by design and by that connection, it can only mean that you're designed to feel good. So that's the word I want to leave you with today, because you can't get away from it. The most important thing you can know is that you are wonderfully made and designed, and that design is in such a way that you're meant to feel good. I'm not saying you're not going to have bad days. I'm not saying some days aren't going to suck, but as a whole, in general, you are meant to feel good. And on those bad days, if you start to look at and appreciate your own design, and you start to use it and engage in it and start to move, or just start to be thankful for it, you're probably going to start moving better. You're probably going to start feeling better, and that's really just awesome. You are wonderfully made. That is the show for this week. I hope you guys have had a great summer. We will be back next week with Ellen Langer, who is the mother of mindfulness, and she's just top notch. All right, guys. I am Tim. This is the Original Strength BodCast, and we'll talk to you later.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Now get outside and play.